Hey everybody, today we're going to be starting to talk about word problems, but we are going to start our day off with a review of the stuff we have been doing. So we have Pythagorean theorem review at the bottom of page 5. Determine if the three given lengths would form a right triangle. Now, if you remember correctly, if they form a right triangle, they should end up equaling a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So now, how do we tell which one is A, which one's B, which one's C? Because they're not always in the right order. I think in this case they actually are. But you remember the legs are going to be the two smaller sides. So we're going to say this one's A, this one's B. And then the biggest side is always going to be the C or your hypotenuse. So this is your C. Over here, we again have 9, 12, and 16. So A, B, and your hypotenuse would be C. 14, 21, and 25 on number 4. So A, B, and C. And then 11, 60, and 61, A. And even though these two are close, this is B. And the biggest one, 61, is C. So now we need to set up our equations. So I'm going to do the first one for you guys, and you guys can do the rest. So our equation for 16, 30, and 34 would be 16 squared plus 30 squared equals 34 squared. Now we can tell if these are actually right triangles if this one plus this one actually equals this one. If they don't equal, then they're not a right triangle. If they do equal, then they are. So then we go and put it in our calculators. So when you put all three in the calculator, you should get 256 for 16 squared. 30 squared is 900, and 34 squared is 1,156. So now we need to add up that 256 and that 900, and we get 1,156 equals 1,156. So since they both equal each other, we do have a right triangle. So your answer is not this right here. Your answer would be yes, it is a right triangle. I'm just going to put try for space's sake. So yes, it is a right triangle. So your answer is telling me yes or no, it is a right triangle. Just doing the problem doesn't tell me you know that it's a right triangle. So you have to put the yes or the yes, it is a right triangle, or no, it excuse me, is not. Because again, this does not tell me that you know it. It tells me the answer, but it doesn't tell me that you know it. So make sure you're telling me the answer is yes or no. So go ahead and answer the other three your own, because this is a review. Alright, so now the new thing we're getting into today is Pythagorean theorem word problems. So it's really the same thing, just in word problem form. So then let's talk about it. The bottom of a ladder must be placed 3 feet from a wall. The ladder is 12 feet long. How far above the ground does the ladder touch the wall? So now we're going to start off, there we go, with a picture. So I'm going to draw a wall. Right, and this is our brick, let's say. And you don't have to make this much detail. I'm just making sure we know what it is. That's our wall. And then this is our grass. Alright, so as you can see, walls and grass or ground or whatever it is always end up making a right angle. So this is our right angles. And it says the bottom of a ladder is 3 feet away from the wall. So we're going to make the bottom of the ladder, let's say, here. And we'll put 3 feet. And again, you do not have to go into this much detail. You just need to make sure you draw the picture out. And the ladder is 12 feet long. So we know how long the ladder is. So let's draw my ladder. Alright, and there's my ladder. And we know the ladder is 12 feet. So now we need to figure out, let me erase the little section so I can write what the, there we go. Alright, so we need to know, where does the ladder touch the wall? We need to know x. And that's all this is for. And as you can see, it forms a right triangle with the bottom of the ladder, the top of the ladder, the wall, and the grass. So now we have a right triangle. Remember, this is our a squared, this is our b squared, and so this will be our c squared. So now we're going to go, and again, it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we have our a, we know that's x squared. We have our b, we know that's 3 squared. And we have our c, which is going to be 12 squared. So now we need to solve a problem, and this is something that you should be able to do at this point. So we have 8 squared plus 3 squared is 9 plus 12 squared, or not plus, I'm sorry, equals 12 squared of 144. So now, again, we're trying to get x by itself, so I'm going to subtract the 9 on both sides to undo that addition, and now we have just x squared on this side, and 144 minus 9 gives us 135. Now, again, to undo to the power of 2, you take the root of 2. So we take the square root, those cancel each other out. So what we do to one side, we have to do the other. So now we have x equaling the square root of 135, which leaves you with x equaling, and we're going to round to the nearest tenth. This. So you should have got 11.61895, blah, 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 but we only needed the 6 and the 1, and since the 6 has a 1 after it, we do not round. We leave it the same, so about, that should not be equals, because it does not equal. It's about 11.6, and don't forget your label, feet. So it touches at about 11.6 feet, and that's what you really should write. That should be your answer, because you should write it in a complete sentence. It's a word problem. So your answer really is the top of the ladder touches at about 11.6 feet. And please make sure you actually put your word answer for a word problem. It's a word problem, so I need to know that you know that that's what it means. I'm going to draw the next one but not solve it, and then you're going to solve the rest of them. So this one says, John leaves school to go home. He walks 6 blocks north and then 8 blocks west. How far is John from school? So let's draw that out. Alright, so now I'm going to first make a compass. And the compass you can just make by doing a cross and saying this is north, this is south, this is east, and this is west. And you remember, never eat soggy wheat. It's the one I learned. Some people learned a little differently, but that's how I always remember. Alright, so he leaves from school. I'm going to draw his school down here because he's going to go north, so I need room to be able to go north. So I'm going to say this is school. And he goes north 6 blocks. Then he goes 8 blocks west. And we see west is going this direction, so I need to make it going to the left 8 blocks. And it's about 8 blocks. So now, what they want to know is that we have our right angle because he went north and then west, so that makes a right angle. You can even see it here. what we need to figure out is how far away John is from school. So John is now over here. Let me draw my little John. And we need to know how far he is from here. So we want to know, what is this? And as you can see, between this right angle, these two would be our legs. This is our hypotenuse. We want to figure out what is our hypotenuse. So you need to figure out your equation of your leg squared plus your leg squared equals your hypotenuse squared. Alright guys, that's what I got for you. You're going to be doing the next two as well. A soccer field is a rectangle 90 meters wide and 120 meters long. The coach asks players to run from one corner to another corner diagonally across the field. How do the players run? So you're going to draw your right triangle and then draw a line from the corner to the corner, and you should see that those make two right triangles. So you're going to figure out what is that distance. Then Kara is flying a kite at a park using a string that is 42 meters long. She notices that the kite is directly above her friend Leah. If Kara and Leah are standing 36 meters apart, how high is the kite? So we know the length of the kite string. We know the distance between Leah and Kara. We need to know how far the kite is above Kara. Or is it above Leah? Sorry. Above the friend. Is above Leah. Sorry. So we need to know how far it is above Leah, not Kara. And that's it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. See ya.